creative living. And that we're going to begin with a song that my beautiful friends Marcy Baruch and Katie Levi were here this week. They are a part of my new nonprofit venture that I'm creating. But Marcy is a brilliant vocalist. And I believe that I shared this song before, but the bottom line, it's appropriate to today's message. So we're going to open with Marcy Baruch's song, This Inner Space. Listen to the words deeply and profoundly because they tie in fully to what I'm going to be sharing with you this morning. Thank you. To your awareness, that I want you to really look at, not only have you at times realized you've put this into practice, but maybe considering them from a much deeper level than you ever have before. You know, Matthew's story is about the wisdom of the heart and its transcendence. And at age 13, he experienced a devastating accident, leaving him a paraplegic. He became and is now a renowned yoga instructor for individuals with disabilities, and he works as a coach, a teacher, and an international speaker. It's incredible. And one of the most vital points in the view of his life is that hearts are transcendent. They do not break. Minds do. I seek to live from that premise. And I know the wisdom of my heart is transcendent. And I want to give emphasis to three key things that Matthew shares in his journey. Number one, healing stories. Number two, the silence between body and mind and the energy field of a sense of movement he found there. The silence between body and mind and the energy, literal energy field of a sense of movement that he found there. And three, and the heart's transcendence. On a wintry day in a snowy Iowa road, their car skidded off the road on ice, and his father and sister were killed. His brother just jammed his shoulder, and his mother got a bruise on her face and her eyes, but he broke his back, his neck, both wrists, which after surgery had to be rebroken again. And for a time period during those early years, he not only he was a quadriplegic. And he had advice from his doctors. Forget the lower body. However, it was what really crippled Sanford, that statement. Forget the lower body. And he ignored it from a once athletic body until age 25. And he discovered yoga and the healing power of the mind-body connection. He created what he terms his healing stories, and some just to carry him through in dealing with the moment, and some with the remembrance of his heart's transcendence, and moving through as he did from 13 to 25 in that advice from the doctors, forget your lower body. The discovery of yoga enabled him to reconnect with a body contained within his silence, allowing him to reconnect with the body that was contained in the silence he found. And I'm going to share directly, because it's so powerful, from Matthew. Here is a potent insight as to what Matthew Sanford lives from. For me, Everything I do flows from my daily yoga practice. The time I take to feel and refine the sensation of my existence. When I lose track of why I do what I do, I remember a simple observation from my years of practicing and teaching yoga. I have never seen anyone truly become more aware of his or her body without also becoming more compassionate. Wow. On the flip side, when we become more disconnected from our bodies, we become more self destructive. And each day, as I practice connecting my mind and my body, I am able to feel a more compassionate path. I wish the same for you. Deepening the connection between mind and body is more than a personal health strategy. It is a practical shift in consciousness that can transform the world. In fact, I believe our long-term survival depends upon this shift becoming reality, and my life is dedicated to helping it happen. What I mean by mind-body connection is simple. Now, just kind of, if you even want to do this as I'm sharing it, do it. Sit back in your chair, slouch, and let your legs splay out. And notice what you feel in your legs, the dullness, the lack of crispness. Now sit up straight and press gently down through your buttock bones and heels and lift your chest. Notice the change in sensation in how, what, and where you feel, how, what, and where you feel it in your body. This is what I mean by mind-body connection. When we deepen the quality of where and how our minds interact and intersect with our bodies, our consciousness shifts. We get more connected to our lives, to each other, and to the planet. And this is what I'm looking for. That connection, that aliveness, that sense of purposefulness. He rebuilt his life from the ground up, searching for healing stories to help him reconnect his mind and his body. And to do so, he has rejected much of traditional medicine, what it tells him, and instead turned to yoga as the centerpiece of his daily practice. And he finds not only a better life, but meaning and purpose in the mysterious distance that we experience between mind and body. He is about the endurance of the human spirit. He shares about that inward silence. I'm going to address that, which he was forced to befriend after the noisy connections which most of us take for granted were severed. The places we don't feel in ourselves, he says, are graceful. He says, not lost. They're graceful, not lost. There's not absence, there's presence. They're part of your strength and your fiber. Healing stories, as he has defined them, can be good at the time, for the moment. For example, for the first few years after, he would often be asked, well, how did you get through everything you got through? And his answer would be, now take this in. The response to that question at 13 years old, a young boy, athletic with everything going for him, never knowing anything but. And he said, this is a healing story he's used. Well, I've had two lives. I had one end at 13. My life as a walking person ended at 13. And I've had this second life. So it's actually, I'm kind of getting two lives. I'm kind of getting two lives. He realized early on that his paralyzed body didn't stop talking to his mind. He realized that his paralyzed body did not stop talking to his mind, and it changed its voice. It went to a more subtle whisper that doesn't have as much clarity, but it's sweeter, it's quieter, and it doesn't as quickly react. He describes it as an energetic presence. An energetic presence. Silence got infused into his mind body relationship, and he believes that it's happening to all of us. It happens to all of us. In his journey, he did find love. His beautiful wife, Jennifer, and they had 2 children, Paul and William, twins. However, William died at birth. I decided what I wanted to give you this morning because I realized it was mission impossible to take this book and go over it in 20 minutes or so and have you absorb his story. It's available. Thank you, Sue, and for that we have this on board. There's 5 books in the back, and I can guarantee you, you will be enthralled with the depth and experiences and might of what Matthew went through. But I decided what I wanted to give you was some reflection on the 3 keys to how Matthew lives and take them into your own awareness on a deeper level for you, your own well-being and insight. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's begin with healing stories. And I would love any of you at a certain point to share any thoughts about healing stories that you've used and had that carry you through. But Matthew defines them as both good and those that are just to get us through and move us on to what we have to face. Those that are just, okay, give me something that'll move me through this, that'll carry me through this moment. He shares, trauma happens not just to an individual. It happens to a whole community, to a family. And a lot of those initial early times with him were connecting to his family and thinking. And he's used this as the healing story when at 13, he drew upon this. Oh, I need to live for them right away, which he says, I think was a healing story to himself. I need to live for them, for his mother and brother, right away. I can do this. Healing stories can be mantras that support and carry us on. I've shared with you the potency of the Hawaiian forgiveness practice, Ho'oponopono, and those 4 key things. I love you unconditionally, Charles. Forgive me. It's not about anyone else. Forgive me for all the things that I've held against me. And I'm sorry for the negative dialogue that I carry about myself. I let go. I just thank you. So it's, I love you. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I cannot tell you how many times I use that to put myself to sleep. When I'm feeling something that's I'm holding on to, that I need to let it go. And this one I've shared with you before. The universe has my back, and angels go before me and prepare the way. That's a healing story, isn't it? The universe has my back, and angels go before me and prepare the way. And oh my God, I have used that through my life. I continue to use it ongoing. And again, healing story in the moment. If you've ever had situations where you've had an immediate reaction of, I did that pretty good, right? Don't react. Breathe. Step back and look from a higher view and respond. That's a healing story. Don't react. Breathe. Step back and look from a higher view. Then respond. It's pretty good, huh? And I use this, everything comes to pass, my grief and my joy. What endures is my love. Everything comes to pass, my grief and my joy. But what endures is love. Do you have healing stories? And sometimes we have to invent one for the moment. In fact, he frequently does that through the book. Okay, I'm going to look at it this way. I'm going to see it from here. But do any of you have a healing little something with that? Yes, Anne. I am the universe experiencing myself uniquely for itself, uniquely. Oh, yeah, experiencing itself. I love it. Anyone else to share it that's coming to your heart and mind that you turn to frequently? They're there. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, my story is no, it's not. Now it is. When I was at Charles's retreat last spring, I used the Ho'oponopono prayer to fall asleep when I was feeling distress or distance. And I have since forgotten to use it. So gathering like this gives us the opportunity to remember these important steps that can keep us in our being.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
I'll share one. I broke my neck in 1976. Actually, I didn't do it. I think God was in charge. But the thing about being, the potential of being paralyzed, I would sit in that circle bed for 2 months, and I would think about a friend of mine who broke her back and was paraplegic from that experience. And when I got out of the hospital and I could move my hands and I could walk and everything, I kept wondering, why me? Why me? And that was really angels, God at work, getting me to focus and to breathe into my life and to be present, because I wasn't before that happened.
Oh. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. You know, if you don't utilize healing stories and recognize them, please begin to. because they can shift everything. They can take you out of the intensity of reactions we have to daily life. And I use that word reactions because they're emotionally rooted in a whole bunch of stuff. And when you take the time to step back and allow yourself to be the observer of the experience instead of participating in the drama of it, it is incredible what you can discover and find. And I want to reflect on the silence between the mind and the body that we can find, the places we don't feel in ourselves. And he defines them are graceful, not lost. They're not absent, they're presence. They're not absence, they're presence, meaning an energy. They're there. And they're part of your strength and your fiber. And the silence between body and mind and energy field and the sense of movement is found there. And recognizing that beautiful song that Marcy shared, that inner space, that the journey through our pain is through that inner space. And I think all of us have experienced extreme pain physically and what it feels like. And I know that in my experience, in my journey, I don't resist the pain. I don't, oh gosh, go away, go away. I don't resist it. I want to feel it. I want to have a sense of my awareness of it and be in its presence so that I'm not in resistance to it and allowing myself to sense the healing energy within my body to transcend it. Does that make sense? And we all have the capacity to move through deep pain. Resistance is futile. When you are in an experience of pain, it is there. Now, one of the things that Matthew shares early on in his book is how during the early episodes in the surgeries that he was able to be the observer of what was going on. He was able to literally be out of the body and observe what was happening. And he was not in pain. And yes, he's dealt with it and returning back into fully. But the bottom line, all of that was a journey of his realizing that there's something within, when we remember that this inner space that Marcy's saying so beautifully, but she says, just breathe. Just deeply breathe and allow yourself to move in to stillness. And you can let go of all the thoughts that are passing by and just come into a sense of energy. Energy is the word I love. Energy, quiet energy and presence. And there's a shift in what you feel in your body. And he found not only a shift, but he found an awareness of body movement that moved him into the realization that yoga was transformative in his life. And the heart's transcendence. Wow. Hearts don't break, minds break. Let's really breathe that in. Yes, we experience the depth of pain and grief centered in the heart. But our heart is a vessel of transcendence. And this is being known more and more scientifically that it is so. And here are some views from the spiritual and mystical perspectives about the heart. I wanted to share them because they're so beautiful. And I'm sure that Matthew lives from these. It is the abode of the self, the heart. And in some traditions, the heart is considered the seat of the soul, the core essence of one's being, and the place where unity and connection with cosmic energy can be experienced. Ooh, cosmic energy, how about that? It's the channel for divine wisdom. And certain mystical traditions, like the Sufis and Buddhist practices, view the heart as a receptacle for divine love and wisdom. An eye of the heart, or an enlightened heart that offers spiritual insights and compassion for the world's suffering. I have to go to my heart when I share, when I speak. It's the only place I can go. Doesn't work so good up here. It's a center for transformation. The heart is seen as the central point for inner transformation, where self-absorption can be transcended, leading to a greater capacity for love and service and connection with a higher power. My connection to that inner higher power, however we define it, is what motivates me, what stirs me, what moves me through anything and everything that I have to, what keeps me centered in doing everything I can to not be reacting in a manner and way in which I'm not observing. There's something for me to gain here when I step back and breathe and look from above and respond from that place, because then I'm in new authority and authenticity of this man called Charles. My heart is the seed and the core of the reality of my life and how I have lived and experienced it. If I'm living from my heart, I want people to sense that and feel an energy field around me that they're drawn to, because there's a healing force that they sense that is a blessing to them. Now, I want to close with the closing of my Matthew's book. And it's a page and a half, but it's so beautiful. I think Matthew now is about early 50s. Since Walking was published, I often find myself in rooms with readers, adding my body, my greenish blue eyes, and my sparkling gray beard to the story under discussion. In many of these rooms, I encounter a similar question. How do you keep smiling? How, when so many others don't? The question always gives me pause. I want to give a clear, resounding answer, because the questioner is looking for a secret, and I so want to give it. But I'm unable because I don't know. I usually respond with what I already offered in the book. Well, I was born with a smile on my face. Of course, this leaves an unsatisfied taste in both of our mouths. It leads to an obvious retort. What if someone isn't so lucky? What then? Today, I'm writing. It's a sunny day, blue-skied winter day, and I'm willing to try a different answer, a different healing story. My answer today is blame it on the sun, or how about blame it on my sons, S-O-N-S, Paul and William, for they amount to the same thing. Earlier in this book, I wrote, I am both heartbroken and desperately in love. I was so mistaken. I have never been heartbroken. It is not possible. What I thought was broken was actually my heart revealing its depth. It has affinity not just with having and holding, but also with silence and loss. It has affinity not just with living, but also with dying. Hearts are transcendent. They do not break. Minds do. And we are living and dying simultaneously. And we are given time to realize the lightness that accompanies this truth. It is the beginning of the journey. It is the end. It still needs a reason for smiling. Then do blame it on the sun. Paul, referencing his son, is almost 8 years old. He has a mop of thick brownish blonde hair. His eyes are brown, not quite as scrumptious as his mother's, but deeper, darker, and with a sparkle that moves the earth under my feet. Paul wonders about his brother William more this year than in years past. And sometimes right before bed, I hear him ask Jennifer, his wife, about William. As our collective heart aches, I hear Jennifer pause briefly in the darkness of his bedroom and then kiss him lightly on the cheek. And in this moment, we all step more deeply into our lives. That's the closure of his book. Please take this book home with you. It's so beautiful. And I honor such men with such courage to do what Matthew has done. But I want to honor all of you and realize that we're here when we put this into practice to be more compassionate, to step out of judgment. Do you realize the judgments we hold are minds breaking and keeping us bound to prisoners of negative thought, of judgments against others, of closing our minds to being aware that we're all here to grow and learn and value and cherish one another and that we all matter. Minds break and they create prisons of thought, but they can also create prisms. Prisms. Prisms that open the door to the heart for healing and compassion and love for self and one another. Amen. And with that, yes, folks, this is the exciting thing. Golly, because this church has such energy and love and et cetera, and you're all like bated breath. Okay, what's next? Well, it's announcements, and we have Mitzi coming up to share those, or to wave, or oh my God, yes, it's been so long, I've forgotten the sequence of the order of service. So yeah, it's it's your offering. So, and we have another beautiful song by by Marcy that is perfect for the offering. So let's play that.
But you are our mentor, Charles. So thank you so much. The other thing I would like to announce is thank you for Sharon for doing such an awesome job. And Anne brought the real live flowers. So there again, we're very, very, very grateful. The other thing is that, okay, Tizer Gardens next week starts at 11. So I recommend all of us that we leave our house at least by 10. We kind of know what happens. If you leave at 10:30, you might miss part of the talk. So Reverend Jean is our speaker. We all kind of know the drill. Bring your drink and something fun to share. Fruits or salads or dessert. That brings the group there. And we are going to provide the silverware, plates, etc. good. Okay. All right. So Sue's bringing that so people can bring potato salad. No, I'm just kidding. The other thing that I just got told before announcements is that next Saturday on PBS at 5 o'clock, they're doing Backroads of Montana, and Tizer Gardens is being featured. So if you remember that, maybe see how it goes. The other thing, Charles, did you want me to bring this up just a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay,
that would be
okay.
fine.
Next, Charles is going to be speaking the Sunday after Tizer Gardens, and at that point, I will have made some copies here. But Charles is going to be offering a 6-week class on called This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes. And it's going to be Thursdays from 1:30 to 3. And he is going to have 6 classes. However, if you can't make all 6, he's recommending we do it, but he is allowing us to come a different, not at each individual one. So each individual one will be $15 a class, and the full amount, if you wanted to do the 6 weeks, would be $75. The other quick question is, do we need to go to Amazon to get the book? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what it's called, and I will, we'll try to get some of the books in the bookstore. So what I wanted to read here that Charles has put on his poster is that he's teaching into practice to how to enrich our lives profoundly, linguistically involved, but universal spiritual principles are eternal. This empowering book brings inspiration and spiritual practice, meditation methods for healing, the power of prayer within you to rise, and the lessons will promote healing, forgiveness, and compassion for all. Wow. And he said, you are the vessel to create a vibrant life of love, creativity, and profound love. So sign up, and we have a phone number, but maybe by the second week in August, we can have a sign-up sheet.
Sure. That
All
would be
right.
great.
Board needs to figure that one out, but I agree. Yes. We just just need logistics.
Yeah,
Yes.
it will be in the,
Yes. We'll be
Mhm.
here. And any additional comments or things I need to, it'll start August 28th through September 25th. And it will be Thursdays. And I just got my hands on this, so we will make copies for you. I could bring them to Tizer Gardens if you want your own copy of this brochure. Need to get a hold of Reverend Jean. She might have already done that, but that's good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you next Sunday, and we'll let Charles bless our offerings and give us more love. Give us more love. Can you repeat the 4 stages of the Ho'oponopono? Because I forgot the third. All right. So
Sure.
on with Charles.
Yeah. So the four brief statements from Ho'oponopono. I love you, referencing you. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. And I want to quote from This Thing Called You. This is Ernest Holmes. You belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. There is something in you telling you this, like a voice echoing from some mountaintop of inward vision, like a light whose origin no one has seen, like an impulse welling up from some invisible source. Your soul belongs to the universe. Your soul is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. Yeah. And if you pay in full for the 6 weeks, you get a class like for free, but you can come individually, $15 per class. And so just acknowledging the gifts and how important it is that your contribution, not only here, but online or our Zoomers and on a monthly basis, the difference that it makes and supports for the board to direct and be able to breathe and have a great honoring of how the flow is coming and where it's going. And so many other arenas are blessed in our community because of your gift and because of how the Helena Center for Creative Living works. And I'm going to, we're going to close with a song by Michael Gott. And I will open my mind to that quiet place, that I can expand my vision within my heart to the heart of all, to the hearts of all, to every soul coming in, to every soul leaving, to everyone upon this planet, to the great and the small, to all of Mother Nature, to every point and place of every grain of sand, of every mountaintop, of everything where there is not a place where this thought is not. I will open to a quiet place, to the transcendence within my heart, that I can live in the continuity of knowing birth and death, joy and grief, all a part of transcendence in which we leave a path of love, regard for all without exception. And so it is. All right. Yay.
One thing that I forgot,
Oh my God.
on the 10th, there is a very good possibility we will not have Zoom. It will be 8 to 10 practice, but I want all of you to know, if you're thinking about watching it on Zoom, that may not happen. And that's what it ain't gonna.
Be here.
So be
Yeah.
here.
Be here. I love it. Yeah. All right. Yay. Yay.